Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chasing a Murder. And today we are on part 101, can you believe it, of Life Beyond the Grave, which is attached to the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case. This is going to be mostly audio. We learned that Satan is disrupting Lori's life, and it's mostly through the majority of her family members, the people she should love and trust most. But like Job, Lori feels that she's being tested. So Charles is now gone and a zombie's taken over his body. Now her daughter is dark. Lori is aggravated with nearly everyone attached to her, including her family. And this includes her brother Alex Cox, who will be known as her protective angel shortly. She's been seen arguing with Alex. She calls him a big mouth and an idiot. One by one, Lori's family becomes a new target, mostly because a lot of them are interrupting her time in the temple where she seeks answers for her next direction in her life. Lori Vallow and several of her friends are going to the temple and performing ordinances behind the church's back. So they're using their temple for their missions and their idea of what is coming. Now, it's kind of contradictory, the information we're getting on Tylee Ryan, whether she is dark or a zombie, because we are told that she becomes a zombie in the spring of 2019. Lori believes that she is the very first prophet of the LDS religion, and she's been translating into this very special heavenly being. And each and every day, Lori's mission is giving her more responsibility, more power, and claims that angels won't allow her to sleep. There's no mention of JJ at this time being dark or a zombie, but her aggravation for everyone else in the family, including her father, her brother Adam, soon even her sister Summer, she and Chad will refer to these people as people who are obstacles to their mission. They're getting in their way. And one of the biggest obstacles in the future would be Brandon Boudreaux. Lori and Chad, though they can't see each other every single day, they are texting each other on their burner phones, or rather talking. Around March 1st of 2019, Tylee posts praises to her mother on Instagram. One of them posts are very interesting because it says an emergency mother appreciation post. So is this around the time that her mother's threatening her that she's a zombie? Lori has been gone from her family, Charles and JJ, for over 58 days now. But she's using manipulation skills to make Charles feel as though they're going to get back together. Now, they continue to use Christ and godly gifts to groom several people that they are involved with. Lori Vallow had groomed Zulema that she would be the contact person. She had a special mission among this group. Zulema seems to believe this, and in fact, in a police interview, she says a few things I think you should hear.
Manipulation, part of that, you're the contact person kind of thing, or, putting you in this. This is one thing that now that we're talking about this, one of the things that they started saying to me from the beginning was that putting me in a position of being so special. And like Glory and Chad used to say to me often, your mission is the most important one. We have to take care of you more than we have to take care of anyone else, because your mission is most important and more important than anybody else's. They always said that to me from the beginning. Okay. And it was, Lori would say that sometimes when we would just get together, she would, say that, everybody has to, make sure that you're praying and taking care of Slana because her mission is the most important. Okay. And if they had some pretty crazy plans, now it would make sense why. Yeah. I would be the most important if that's, yeah. So that was part of the final plan.
So what is exactly motivating these people to do these things? They believe that they're granted special powers, so much so that God himself is speaking through people like Lori Vallow themselves while at the temple. And they believe that they have these special missions. Their mission is to lead everyone on earth or help usher in the second coming and to prepare for that. And what better way to do this than to have ranking systems? So Chad and Lori are using ranking systems that are similar to Energy Code, healer Julie Rowe is using. Her good friend Eric Smith is also interested in these numbering systems. I haven't had time to finish researching the ranking system, and I'm sorry, guys, it's just been so much to look into. But I do have some audio I want to share from a multiple probations video that Julie Rowe and Eric Smith made. It says that it was uploaded in December of 2019, but I'm thinking this is something that they made earlier. Now remember, Lori Vallow was very interested in Julie Rowe, her podcast, and her teachings. And Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell are now teaching themselves now about past lives, states, and probations. In this video, Julie will say that she remembers a past life where she's on the Mayflower that's heading to the United States, one of the first shiploads of people to colonize the United States, where she got terribly sick and was dying. She was only 5 years old. For Julie, she says she knows her future to die at 5. She knew about this beforehand. She had learned about this information behind the veil before she was even placed into that body. After she passes as a 5-year-old, her spirit ascends to heaven, where she is reborn again a short time after. She says she is born in Jamestown. Would this make it life 2.2? I'm not certain, but this would probably make about 5 life experiences, I think. Anyways, she was age 20. In one of these past lives, she loses a child, a son. She says that she's later blessed to have those children that she lost in her past lives in a new probation in the millennium. Now, what I have learned so far when it comes to spirits behind the veil, or whether on other planets with God or other heavenly beings or as God themselves, they're waiting to be born into another probation. And they're referred to as intelligences in some cases. But they're not supposed to have a memory of being reborn or their past lives. But Julie seems to have memories of her past lives, and so does Lori and Chad and many people. Now, while Eric Smith and Julie Rowe are using this more like for probation and agencies, basically, Chad Daybell, they're using a scoring system not only for probations, but to deem people light or dark instead. So they've taken the ranking system that they're learned a little bit about from Julie Rowe, and they're morphing it into something different. The folks in Lori and Chad's group, well, they're also being ranked by vibrations. So vibration scores. And this is based on, kind of like a trustworthiness rating. Some of this is actually giving them ideas of how close they are to being transcended or to being a dark spirit. So the more that you stand up against Lori Vallow or Chad Daybell, the darker you get. And as we move forward, where we see Lori and Chad to start texting about these things, we'll go a little bit more into detail. So let's listen to Julie Rowe and Eric Smith, their version of what is considered a multiple probation ranking system.
I can identify. Sometimes it's just nice to know somebody else can feel your pain. Although none of us knows exactly what it's like to be in someone else's shoes, but I know that the Savior does, and that Father and Mother do, and that we have many members of Elohim who have been through what you're going through, and quite honestly, much worse. And that is why they're able to extend the hand of mercy to you in any capacity, and to provide the healing and to provide their life force so that you can heal from whatever trauma, whatever you've gone through. My heart goes out to those right now who are listening who have lost a child at any age. For those that have a question, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints teaches that children under the age of 8 are celestial. This is true. The robe that they get, or their body that they get until they're 8, if they're not baptized, they do ascend into a celestial realm. And they don't have to go through baptism and have the initiatory and the endowment at that place. They can be sealed to their parents still. If they're born in the covenant, that's taken care of. And yet they can still come back to earth, and most of them do choose to come back to earth to get a new robe, a new body, so they can ascend even further into the celestial realms. So say you have a young spirit who's never been on the earth before, they might choose, maybe, for all you know, maybe they chose a fast track, and so maybe they chose to come to earth for 6 years, ascend to the heavens, and then come back and live a life until, they're 30, and then come back and live a life until they're 80. There's lots of reasons. And same with those that have Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, any kind of illness, cancer that causes them to suffer greatly, people with autism, Asperger's. There's all kinds of reasons why those individuals have chosen to have those ailments and those health issues. Sometimes it's to clear energy in the family lines, often, and also to help them learn or to ascend. The greater the trials one has in life related to things like that, gives them an opportunity at a different level to purify their heart and to clear their energy to get to a higher place. Anyway.
So you can head over to Julie Rowe's YouTube page or YouTube channel and view the entirety of this if you would like. It's number 9, multiple probation.
Julie, and just to add a couple things there, I know of some past estates where my children were also my children there, lost their mother, and then in another estate lost their father at young ages. And it's almost like heaven wanted them to experience the loss of both. And then it's just another pattern. Another thing that I was thinking of while you were talking was, we often hear, and I don't know the quote exactly, about for those who lose their children in this life, they will, if they're faithful, they'll be able to raise that child in the millennium. I think I've always seen, in the past, I've just seen that same person coming down in the same robe, the same body, and raising it there. But I'm starting to see that the more likely scenario is you actually birth that spirit again in a new tabernacle, a new body, a new robe,
yes,
and raise it that way.
About myself again, I have, as part of my mission, volunteered to experience basically really anything anyone in mortality will go through. I have memory of being on the Mayflower and being terribly sick and dying on the Mayflower at the age of 5. And it's been explained to me that I agreed to do that for lots of reasons I'm not going to go into. And then I ascended again so that I could come back shortly thereafter to help in Jamestown. On that probation, I only lived to the age of about 20. And I had a child that was taken from me and murdered. And I had another child that I died at an early age and left him without a mother. And I have been blessed to be able to have both of those children again with new robes in a new probation. I have another memory of being at Martin's Cove, starving and frozen and dying at Martin's Cove at the age of 6. And I have and am clearing energy right now for my parents who lost their child. And again, I needed to ascend so that I could come back again.
If you want a minute, I can shift gears and let you. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about numbers. You've heard Julie use numbers, and the scriptures themselves refer to us in our first estate. And we don't need to get too caught up in numbers, but let me just explain how that works real quickly according to understanding. There are 2 types of numbers we might use. One is concerning your probations, which is the number of lives you've had, and the second is your estate, which is different. Your estate has more to do with your mission, as I understand it. So let me explain probations really quick. You've heard Julie refer to a decimal system, like 4.3 or whatever. The way this works, and this goes back to a quote I quoted before by Shakespeare: for 3 he strays, for 3 he plays, for 3 he stays, or something. We don't need to hold fast to any of those. It's just a concept that it takes time to become firm in who you are and establish your gifts. So my understanding is in your second estate, which is your first life on this earth, in your third estate, your third probation, and then you become a 4, we call it a 4.1. So you have 2, 3, and a 4.1. Those are your first 3 on the earth. The next 3 is your 4.2, 4.3, and then you go to 5.1, and then 5.2, 5.3. At that point, you've had 9 lives, and then you can advance at that point. So that's seems to be the typical process for those who choose to follow the program of multiple probations and that path of ascension. That's typically what you would go through. Estates is a different thing. They correlate, but not exactly. And Julie, I want to turn this to you, but we have second estates, third estates, fourth estates, and people are picking up on the idea that each of those have sort of different missions or purposes in life.
Right. I think we can go into some more of that on maybe another podcast or something as far as the missions. I can tell you that there are not that many fifth estates, even fewer sixth estates. For every light that we have on the planet, there is someone that is contracted with the dark. So if you take the Justin Trudeau's, the Hillary Clintons, the Putins, these guys that are powerhouses on the dark side. These are multi-creation beings who are in higher estates. They've been placed in positions of power by the dark side for the chess game. It's very much war. And we have our lights as well. We've got our Bednars, our Hollands, right? Our Nelsons. And our Enochs. And our 3 Nephites.
Right.
Who, in our case, the hidden bloodline, we do the opposite of what the dark side does. We stay hidden. They cloak and put themselves in the public light to be cool to the world, and we hide and use invisibility shields, and it's awesome. And one day we will reveal who we are, or it will be revealed, and we'll do a checkmate.
Yeah, well said.
So if you remember right, Lori was overt in the 4, and we'll go into more detail on that later. And we had several of the people that were close to Lori and Chad that were following right behind them when it come to the ranking. The higher the number, the more rare these people or beings were. Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, he's massaging some of these ladies because he was a massage therapist. He likes to give massages. Very strange, but he likes to do it. He's massaging the shoulders of these people, and he mentions the fact that all these translated beings, they're very tense and stressed. So it's very obvious that they were all in process of translating or have been translated. For Chad and Lori, they believe that there's very few of them that are over a 5, and they are on their way to being translated into their 5s, their 6s, and we still haven't got the full understanding of what the ranking system is once you start hitting 5, 6, 7, and so on. But we do know, listening to Julie and Eric, they suggest that a lot of these higher numbers, dark or light, are wealthy people, somebody that's significant, something like a Bill Gates, Clinton, Bush. So another interesting thing is we are learning that Lori Vallow is performing these ordinances in the temple with her buddies. We've even heard them speak of anointments, right, ladies? I've seen y'all mention that in the comments. It is said that in the LDS religion that they do anoint people in an ordinance that they refer to as the second anointing. Now, the church has denied this, but there are several people that say that this does still go on and that it's done for higher people such as Mitt Romney, big influencers within the LDS church. If you are not wealthy and making a huge impact on this earth, you will not get that second anointing. So I believe that Chad and Lori, well, they're going into the temple and they're doing this second anointings on themselves. It's not fact. This is speculation, but for now, let's keep that sitting in the back of our minds. Okay, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much, guys, for your support, your love. Thank you, Patreons, for helping us out. If you like my work and want to donate, you can go to Patreon, Chasing a Murderer, and donate one time. Or you can donate monthly. You can just do $1. Other ways that you can help is like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the videos. Don't forget to share one of our faces today, like Dulce, Kiera Coles. These ladies continue to go on missing without any answers for the families. It's very sad. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.